Hello, my friends. Today, the maximum activity of the Russians along the entire front line continues. This indicates that the summer offensive is in full swing. Let's start with the Kharkiv direction. Here, the occupiers are once again trying to break through in the area of the village of Lyptsi. There are also ongoing battles near Hlyboke, which indicates that the Ukrainian Armed Forces are continuing their counterattacks and pushing the Russians further away from Kharkiv. At the same time, the Russians still have many caps, so they continue to fly over their frontline territory. In Vovchansk, street fighting continues. The Ukrainian armed forces are doing everything possible to completely expel them from the city. Essentially, these are counter battles, and a considerable amount of resources are being expended. The Ukrainian armed forces are also shelling their occupied positions to hold back their advance and break their forces. As a result, there have been no changes on the front line in the past 24 hours, but the fighting continues. And in the Kupiansk direction, the occupiers continue their attacks on Synkivka and also Pishchane for the second consecutive day. They haven't achieved any success and the front line remains unchanged. As it appears, the Russians were unable to reach Kupiansk and capture it during their winter period. And it seems that they will also fail to do so during the summer offensive because success here is on the side of the Ukrainian armed forces. In the Svatove area, fighting is taking place near Andriivka and also Hrekivka. Meanwhile, near Družilivka, the Russians haven't made any new gains and the front line hasn't changed over the past day. In the Kreminna direction, fighting is ongoing in the areas of Nevske, Makiivka, Terny, Torske, and also Dibrova. However, the Ukrainian forces continue to eliminate advancing Russians, and the front line hasn't changed over the past day. All attacks on Yampil were also unsuccessful. The Russians couldn't secure a position near the town, and the Ukrainian forces successfully repelled all assaults. In the Siversk direction, the occupiers continue their attacks on Bilohorivka, Vyimka, and Rozdolivka. Here, the situation remains unchanged daily. The Ukrainian forces successfully repel all attacks, and the front line hasn't shifted. In the Chasiv Yar direction, the Ukrainian forces repelled 3 assaults on the outskirts of the town. Meanwhile, fighting continues for Ivanivske and Andriivka. It's reported that the situation on the outskirts of Ivanivske, where the Ukrainian forces are still holding on, remains very tense. The occupiers are deploying a large number of reserves to force the Ukrainian forces out of the village. Shelling continues at maximum intensity along the entire front line. So the Ukrainian armed forces report that the situation is deteriorating, and one of the soldiers writes, "The pressure on the streets of Chasiv Yar has significantly increased. It seems like July is going to be an extremely tough month." It appears that some of the ammunition and reserves are being diverted to the Kharkiv direction, leaving insufficient strength here to turn the situation around and push them further from the Chasiv Yar. In the Pokrovsk direction, there were 27 assaults over the past day, with high activity continuing. The occupiers are attacking Novoalexandrivka, attempting to reach the highway. However, it seems the Ukrainian forces managed to hold them here, and the occupiers' advance has slowed. Consequently, they are heavily shelling the entire area and deploying large reserves to break through the defenses. Also, attacks on Yevhenivka, Sokil, Novopokrovsk, Novoselivka Persha, and also Yasnobrodivka, Netailove, and Nevelske also continue. And near Kharkiv, however, their attacks have temporarily ceased and the Russians failed to penetrate closer to the settlement, leaving the front line unchanged over the past day. In the Kurakhve direction, attacks on Krasnohorivka and near Heorhiivka continue unabated. In Paraskovivka, remember, the Russians have claimed complete control over this village, but the Ukrainian side has yet to confirm this information. According to their latest reports, fighting is ongoing in Paraskovivka. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers continue their assaults on Staromayorsk, and today the General Staff reported clashes near Zavitne Bazhannia. There are no official statements regarding this yet, but there is a possibility that the Ukrainian Armed Forces has begun to conduct counterattacks here. However, the front line hasn't changed over the past day. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the General Staff reports ongoing clashes near Novoprokopivka. It remains unclear if Ukrainian Armed Forces counteroffensive has begun, but yesterday's attacks on Mala Tokmachka and Novodanylivka were unsuccessful for the Russians. In the Kherson direction, attacks continue around the village of Kreminna and shelling of both the right and left banks of the Dnipro River persists. The occupying authorities. Where is Svatove? Oh, it's here. Reported that 21 people died and 5 were injured due to the explosions in the village of Svatove, Kherson region. The causes of the explosions haven't been disclosed yet. And regarding the situation in Kreminna, the map shows that only the outskirts of the village are controlled by the Ukrainian Armed Forces, while the majority of the area is under Russian control. Although the situation was similar before, the Ukrainian Armed Forces conducted counterattacks, expanded the gray zone to the forest. Later, the situation worsened, and now Ukrainian forces hold only their outskirts. Recently, they managed to expand the control territory in the coastal area, but it cannot be said that the Ukrainian forces fully control Kreminna, only its outskirts. Russians even spread videos claiming that the last Ukrainian soldier has left Kreminna. However, we await official statements on this matter. Meanwhile, Zakharova said something about goats.
Козел может себя исключить из состава животных, но он не перестанет быть козлом, понимаете? Вот это примерно та же история. Они могут делать все, что угодно. Они только лишь этими безумными шагами подтверждают нашу сегодняшнюю правоту.
Perhaps she is referring to Russia, as it's becoming increasingly clear every day that without Russia there would be no problems in the world. So if you agree, please show your support in the comments. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.